All right, so are you ready to dive into a topic you might not expect?
Oh, I'm intrigued already.
We've gotten some listener questions
Okay.
about dolls and their connection
Interesting.
to spiritual energy.
Hmm.
Specifically, a text titled,
Mm-hmm.
Attention, the dolls can drain all your positive energy.
I'm a little creeped out.
The title definitely grabs you.
To be honest.
It sparks curiosity and maybe a little unease.
Yeah.
This idea that dolls,
Right.
these seemingly innocent objects,
Right.
could be impacting our energy
Yeah.
is a concept that has been around for centuries
Oh.
and across cultures.
So let's unpack that a bit.
Yeah, okay.
The text claims that dolls
Uh-huh.
can act as these spiritual sponges,
Okay.
absorbing and radiating energy,
Mm.
and their human-like appearance
Right.
is what makes them so potent.
Yeah.
Almost like magnets.
This
Like,
unseen energy.
this concept of dolls
Yeah.
as more than just playthings
Yeah.
isn't new in
Mhm.
many cultures. Okay. Dolls have held significant spiritual and ritualistic roles.
Oh, interesting.
Think of ancient Egyptian Ushabti dolls
Huh.
intended to serve the deceased in the afterlife,
Wow.
or Japanese kokashi dolls,
Okay.
believed to possess protective qualities.
So this idea has
Yeah.
some historical weight to it.
Yes.
But this source goes a step further,
Okay.
suggesting that dolls can become anchors
Mm.
for spiritual entities
Oh.
trying to connect to our world.
Okay.
Okay, now I'm getting chills.
All right.
Does the source provide any specific
Hmm.
examples of these entities?
It doesn't delve into specific types,
Okay.
but it touches on the idea that any object,
Okay.
especially one imbued with
Mhm.
human-like qualities,
Right.
can become a focal point for energy,
Okay.
both positive and negative.
Yeah.
It's like the doll becomes a bridge
Uh-huh.
between the physical and spiritual realms.
Okay, so that's a little unsettling.
Yeah.
Before we
Okay.
run off and bury all our dolls, let's get practical.
Okay.
What are some signs that we might be experiencing
Mm-hmm.
energy drain? Maybe even from an object like a doll.
It's important to recognize that feeling drained or fatigued
Right.
can be caused by many things.
Of course.
Stress, lack of sleep.
Yeah.
However,
Okay.
if you find yourself feeling inexplicably drained,
Yeah.
especially after being around a specific object
Uh-huh.
or in a certain room,
Right.
that might be a sign.
So it's about noticing patterns
Yes,
and those subtle shifts in energy.
exactly.
What other signs does the source mention?
It lists things like sudden chills,
Okay.
particularly in a room where nothing has changed temperature-wise.
Yeah.
Vivid nightmare, especially if dolls feature prominently in them,
Oh, wow.
and difficulty focusing or feeling mentally foggy.
Okay.
These could all be signs of energy depletion,
Right.
especially if they coincide with being around a specific object.
That's helpful.
Yeah.
I can see how those subtle signs could easily be overlooked or dismissed.
Yeah.
But if we're experiencing these things,
Right.
what can we do about it?
Mm.
I mean, we're not just going to live in a
Yeah.
constant state of energy drain, are we?
Not at all.
Okay.
The source offers a
Right.
range of spiritual cleansing techniques that can help restore and protect your energy.
Okay, let's hear it.
All right.
What are some of these techniques?
Yeah.
And how do they specifically relate to cleansing doll energy?
The first suggestion is smudging.
Okay.
This practice.
Yeah.
Using the smoke of sacred herbs,
Right.
like sage or palo santo, has been used for centuries,
Oh,
except
hey.
for across cultures.
So smudging a doll with sage is
Yeah.
essentially like giving it an energetic cleanse, right?
Mhm.
Does the source suggest any specific
Mhm.
methods for smudging a doll?
It advises holding the doll in the smoke
Ugh.
and visualizing the smoke carrying away
Right.
any stagnant or negative energy.
It sounds a bit like
Yeah.
how you might wash a delicate garment with care
Right.
and intention.
Intention is key here.
Yeah.
As you smudge,
Uh-huh.
focus on your intention
Right.
to cleanse the doll and restore its energy to a neutral or positive state.
So smudging is one approach.
Right.
What else does the source suggest?
Another technique involves the use of crystals.
Right, crystals.
Yeah.
I've heard about using crystals for energy work,
Uh-huh.
but I'm not sure how they'd be used,
Yeah.
specifically with dolls.
Okay.
Does the source go into detail about that?
It suggests placing these crystals near the doll.
Hmm.
Perhaps even holding the doll and the crystal together
Oh.
while visualizing the crystal absorbing any negative energy.
So it's like creating an energetic support system
Right.
for the doll.
Yeah.
Using these crystals as a way to bolster its positive energy or help it release
Right.
anything negative it might be holding.
Exactly.
Does it mention any other crystals that might be useful?
Yes. Selenite.
It is also mentioned
Yeah.
for its cleansing and purifying properties.
Hmm.
It's a good crystal to use for clearing spaces as well.
So we've got smudging, crystals.
Right.
Does the source offer any methods that are less about external tools and more about working with our own energy?
Absolutely.
Okay.
It emphasizes the importance of personal cleansing through meditation and visualization.
Right.
Imagine your energy as a bright light
Hmm.
and visualize that light surrounding the doll,
Uh-huh.
cleansing and purifying its energy.
So even if we choose to use smudging or crystals,
Yes.
connecting with our own energy and intention seems to be a key part of the process.
I guess.
It's not just about the tools. It's about the energy we bring to the practice.
Exactly.
That's empowering.
It is.
But what if cleansing isn't enough? What if there's a doll that we just can't seem to shake that uneasy feeling about?
That's where the concept of setting boundaries with objects comes in. Boundaries with objects.
Yeah.
I've never thought about it that way.
It might sound strange,
Okay.
but just like we set boundaries with people,
Right.
we can set energetic boundaries with the things we surround ourselves with.
How does that apply to a doll, specifically?
It could involve physically distancing yourself from the object.
Right.
Maybe you move it to another room or even decide to let go of it entirely.
Wow.
This source even mentions release rituals.
Oh, okay.
Like burying a doll in the earth as a symbolic way to sever any energetic ties.
That's pretty powerful imagery.
It is.
So it's not just about cleansing the energy, but sometimes about recognizing that certain objects might not be aligned with our energy anymore.
Yes.
And it's okay to let them go.
Letting go can be a powerful act of self-care.
Yeah.
Energetically speaking,
Right.
it allows us to create space for objects and energies that support our well-being.
Okay, so we've covered cleansing, working with crystals,
Right?
connecting with our own energy,
Yes.
and even setting boundaries with objects.
It's like a whole toolkit for managing doll energy.
But what if we could take this a step further? The source mentions that dolls can actually be transformed into spiritual protectors, right?
Yes.
Okay, now this is where things get really interesting.
Yeah.
We're not just talking about clearing out bad vibes.
Right.
We're talking about turning these dolls into potential allies.
That's a great way to put it.
Yeah.
It's about shifting the narrative
Right.
from fear to empowerment.
Okay.
Instead of fearing the potential negative energy of a doll, we can choose to work with its energy and transform it into something that supports us.
But that's a whole other conversation.
Right.
And we'll dive into that
Yes.
in the next part
of
our deep dive.
All right. So we've established that dolls can be more than just passive recipients of energy. They can be actively cleansed, and we can even set boundaries with them. But now let's explore this fascinating idea of transforming these dolls into something that works for us,
All right.
into spiritual protectors.
I have to admit, that's a concept that really caught my attention. I mean, going from potentially spooky dolls to spiritual allies is quite a leap.
It is.
Yeah.
And it speaks to a human desire that transcends cultures and time periods.
Yeah.
The desire for protection, for benevolent forces to watch over us. The source points out that dolls, with their human-like forms, have often been seen as vessels for those protective energies.
So it's not just about neutralizing any negative energy a doll might have picked up. It's about imbuing it with a positive protective purpose.
Does the source provide any examples of how this was done historically?
It mentions the use of poppets.
Oh, interesting.
In various folk magic traditions.
Okay.
Poppets are essentially small, handcrafted dolls made with specific intentions. They were used for everything from healing to protection. With different materials and rituals corresponding to the desired outcome.
That's fascinating. It suggests a long history of people recognizing the potential of dolls to be more than just toys.
It's like they saw them
exactly
as potential conduits for spiritual energy.
And that brings us to the concept of consecration. which the Source describes as a key step in transforming a doll into a spiritual protector.
Okay, let's dive into that.
All right.
What exactly does consecrating a doll involve?
The Source doesn't specify a particular type of doll, which suggests that the intention...
And the ritual are more important than the physical object itself.
So how do we actually do that? What does the ritual look like?
The Source describes a process of creating a sacred space.
Okay.
Perhaps by lighting candles or incense, and then holding the doll in your hands while clearly stating your intention.
So it's about creating a mindful, intentional atmosphere. It's not just casually saying, hey, doll, protect me.
The Source emphasizes the power of spoken words and focused visualization.
Right.
As you hold the doll, you might say something like,
okay,
I consecrate you to be a source of protection. To guard my energy and space.
Okay.
And while you speak these words, visualize a bright protective light surrounding the doll.
It's almost like programming the ball with a specific purpose. And that visualization seems important.
Like you're imbuing the doll.
With that protective energy.
Exactly.
The Source highlights the importance of engaging all your senses in the ritual.
Okay.
The sight of the candles, the smell of the incense, the feel of the doll in your hands, and the sound of your voice.
Right.
Stating your intention.
It's starting to feel less like a spooky ritual. And more like a deeply personal act of empowerment.
I think that's a key shift in perspective. It's about moving from a place of fear to a place of agency. Recognizing our own ability to shape the energy around us.
Okay, so we've cleansed the doll, consecrated it, and set our intention for it to be a protector.
What next?
What next?
Do we just place it on a shelf and hope for the best?
Not quite.
The Source stresses the importance of maintaining that energetic connection, of nurturing the relationship with the doll as a spiritual ally.
So it's an ongoing process, not just a one-time ritual.
Right.
What are some ways to keep that connection strong?
Regular cleansing is crucial, just like we discussed earlier. You can periodically smudge the doll, hold it while meditating. Or even just spend a few moments each day. Focusing your intention on its protective purpose.
It's like reminding the doll.
Yes. Great way to put it.
Its job description. Keeping that energetic intention clear and strong.
The Source also suggests incorporating crystals.
Crystals again. So we can use them to boost the doll's protective powers.
Yes.
How would that work?
You might place the protective crystal near the doll. Perhaps on a bedside table or near an entryway. The crystal's energy can amplify the doll's protective field, creating a stronger barrier against negative energies.
So it's like building a little energetic fortress.
That's a good visualization. And remember, intention is always key as you place the crystals. Visualize their energy merging with the doll's protective energy, creating a harmonious and powerful shield.
This is fascinating.
It is.
We're not just cleansing or neutralizing energy. We're intentionally shaping and directing it. For a specific purpose.
It's like we're becoming energy architects.
I like that, energy architects. It emphasizes the active role we play in shaping our energetic environment.
And that brings us to another intriguing aspect. The Source touches on the use of dolls as manifestation tools.
Oh, yes, we talked about that.
Yeah, we did. It's one thing to use a doll for protection, but can we really use it to manifest our desires?
How does that work?
Well, the principle is similar to consecration. It involves imbuing the doll with a specific intention. But this time, the intention is focused on a desired outcome.
So instead of saying, protect me, we might say something like, help me achieve this goal. Or bring this desire into my life.
Exactly.
It's like we're giving the doll a mission, a specific task to carry out on our behalf.
And remember, the Source emphasizes that manifestation isn't about passively wishing for things to happen. It's about aligning your energy with your desires and taking inspired action.
So it's not about sitting back and
Yeah.
expecting the doll to do all the work.
It's about using the doll as a focal point for our intentions.
Yeah.
A tangible reminder of what we're working toward. It's about co-creating with the energy of the doll. Using it as a tool to amplify and direct our own creative power.
This is all so mind-blowing.
Yeah.
But I have a question.
Okay.
Can any doll be used for manifestation?
That's a great question.
Or are there specific types of dolls?
The source doesn't specify, which suggests that any doll can potentially be used.
However.
But it's important to choose a doll that resonates with you, one that you feel a connection with.
So it's about choosing a doll that feels energetically aligned with your intention.
It's not just about grabbing any random doll off the shelf.
Yeah.
It's about recognizing that each doll, like each person, has its own unique energy signature.
And finding a doll that aligns with your intention can amplify the effectiveness of the manifestation practice.
Okay, so we've covered cleansing, consecrating for protection.
And even using dolls for manifestation.
It's a whole range of possibilities.
Oh, yeah.
But I'm curious, is there any overlap between these practices?
Okay.
Can a doll that's been consecrated for protection also be used for manifestation?
That's an interesting question.
And I think that's where we move from simply following instructions to tapping into our own intuition and discernment.
So it's about feeling into the energy of a doll and trusting our own guidance.
It's not about rigid rules, but about a more nuanced and personal approach.
And that's what makes this exploration of doll energy so fascinating.
It does. It invites us to connect with the subtle energies around us, to explore the possibilities beyond the material realm, and to trust our own inner wisdom.
It's a reminder that we're not just passive observers of the world, but active participants in shaping our own
reality.
And that's a powerful realization.
But before we get too carried away with our newfound energy mastery, let's bring our deep dive to a close and reflect on what we've learned. So we've covered a lot of ground in this deep dive, from energy drain and cleansing techniques to consecration rituals and even using dolls for manifestation. It's been quite a journey.
It has been. We've gone from potentially fearing these objects to seeing them as potential allies and even active partners in our spiritual practices.
And I think what strikes me most is how this exploration of doll energy connects to a broader theme of personal empowerment. It's not just about dolls. It's about recognizing our own ability to influence and shape the energy around us.
That's a key takeaway, isn't it?
Yeah.
And the source emphasizes that we are not passive recipients of energy, but active participants in creating our energetic reality.
It's like we've been handed a set of tools and given the agency to choose how we use them, whether it's smudging crystals, visualization, or even just setting clear intentions. We have options. And that choice, that conscious awareness of our own energetic power, is incredibly empowering. It shifts us from a place of fear or helplessness to a place of agency and responsibility.
It's like graduating from Energy 101 to Energy Mastery, where we're not just reacting to energy, but consciously directing it.
Exactly. And I think that's where the conversation about dolls becomes so interesting. They become a tangible representation of that shift, a focal point for our intention, and a reminder of our own energetic potential.
It's like they're tiny teachers reflecting back to us our own power to shape our reality.
I love that analogy, and it reminds us that even seemingly ordinary objects can hold profound meaning and potential. It's all about how we choose to perceive and interact with them.
This deep dive has definitely made me look at the objects in my life with a fresh perspective. I'm suddenly a lot more curious about the energy they might be holding and how I can work with it more intentionally.
That curiosity is a wonderful thing. It's the spark that ignites our spiritual exploration and leads us to new understandings and insights.
But I have to admit, this whole topic can feel a bit overwhelming. There's so much to learn and so many different techniques to explore. Where do we even begin?
I think the key is to start small. To choose one practice that resonates with you and experiment with it. It could be as simple as taking a few minutes each day to visualize protective light around yourself and your home.
So it's not about mastering every technique or becoming an energy expert overnight. It's about taking those small, consistent steps and trusting the process.
Exactly. And remember, it's a journey, not a destination. There will be times when you feel more connected to your energy and times when you feel more depleted. It's all part of the learning process.
That's reassuring. It's like any skill, the more we practice, the more proficient we become.
And the more we practice, the more we develop our intuition and our ability to discern what works best for us. There's no one-size-fits-all approach when it comes to energy work.
So it's about finding what resonates with our own energy and trusting our own inner guidance.
Exactly. It's about empowering ourselves to be the architects of our own energetic reality.
Well, on that empowering note, we've reached the end of our deep dive into doll energy. I have to say, this has been one of the most intriguing and thought-provoking explorations we've had on the show.
I agree. It's amazing how a seemingly simple object like a doll can open up so many layers of understanding about energy and tension and our own spiritual potential.
We hope this deep dive has sparked your curiosity and inspired you to look at the objects in your life with a fresh perspective. Remember, it's not about fearing energy, but about understanding it, working with it, and ultimately harnessing its power to create the life you desire.
And who knows, maybe you'll even find yourself looking at those dolls in a whole new light.
Be sure to check out the show notes for links to resources where you can explore these topics further. And until next time, keep exploring, keep questioning, and keep shining your light.
See you on the next deep dive.